Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Governor Andy Beshear works to make our schools safer following the tragedy at a Texas elementary school. And an Eastern Kentucky community comes together to help restore a centuries-old family cemetery.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. It's Monday, almost 6 o'clock here. Good morning to you. Thank you for waking up with us. Those of you who are with us, because I'm sure most of our viewers, Braden, are probably asleep on this holiday and school's out, so nobody's getting up early anymore. But anyway, so let's take it over to Brandon. All righty, Dustin, thank you there. I swear, sometimes it just takes forever for the split boxes to get up, but I got a text from a viewer and she said, let's go hiking. And I was like, no. I think you can probably figure out who it is, but no.
Like, yeah.
No, not right now. Not
Listen,
today.
I appreciate the enthusiasm there, but there you go. All right, it's gonna be a good day to be outside doing anything. If you're visiting graves, if you're cooking out, if you're hitting the pool, if you're hiking, any type of situations would be good for that today. But it's going to be hot. Let's take a look, see what's going on right now. US 119, US 23, Jenkins Mountain. A little bit of traffic up there this morning. Not too much going on at the moment. We're looking at temperatures across the board in the 50s and 60s. 51 in Clintwood to 66 in Logan and Pikeville. That is our range right now. A lot of mid to upper 50s and low 60s. Dew points are up there, getting close to that getting sticky category. It's still comfortable this morning. I rode to work with the window down, but I'd say a little bit later on today you will not be able to do that. 87 is the forecast high, 78 is the record, or excuse me, 78 is the average, 90 is the record set back on this day in 2006. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Well, President Joe Biden is pledging to take action following the Texas school shooting. The President and First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, visited the heartbroken community of Uvalde yesterday, meeting with the families of the 19 children and 2 teachers who died. CBS's Danya Backus has the latest.
The Department of Justice will conduct a review of the police response to last week's shooting that killed 2 teachers and 19 children at Robb Elementary.
As tragic as this may seem, we need to learn from this.
The DOJ says its goal is to identify the lessons learned and best practices to help first responders prepare for active shooters.
Obviously, the way that you develop policy many times is by learning about the mistakes in the past.
Parents want to know why law enforcement officers, including a federal tactical team, waited outside the classroom for more than 40 minutes before confronting and killing the shooter.
With the benefit of hindsight,
the Texas Department of Public Safety said on Friday, not engaging the shooter earlier was clearly a mistake.
Of course it was not the right decision. It was a wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that.
President Biden and the First Lady visited Uvalde on Sunday. The 2 laid flowers at the memorial outside the school, met privately for 3 hours with the families, and as he left a church service, pledged to do something about gun violence. 11-year-old Bella Barboza was friends with Ellie Garcia, one of the students killed.
Ellie was a very bright girl.
Bella hopes her friend's death will help spark change.
You need to get justice for these children, and that this world is not a good place for children to grow up in.
Funerals start this week for some of the victims. Danya Backus, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
Well, more on the DOJ review. It is being conducted by the Office of Community-Oriented Policing, known as COPS, and it typically advocates for better police practices. It is not a criminal investigation. Well, with the school shooting in Texas, many parents may be left wondering what their own kids' schools are doing to prevent a similar tragedy from happening. Well, here in Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear says he and his team are working to make Kentucky schools safer. He adds that he recently signed a bill that requires every school to have school resource officers.
We will have someone there that is trained to respond. That's turning what may be seen as a soft target into a hard target to make sure that what happened in Texas does not happen here.
Well, the governor adds that another key aspect in his school safety plan is limiting school entryways and offering entries that visitors have to be buzzed through to get inside the building. Eastern Kentucky native and lawyer Ned Pillersdorf says the Commonwealth's gun laws largely mirror that of Texas. Both states allow concealed carry without a permit and don't require private sellers to perform background checks. Now Pillersdorf is wondering whether or not the tragedy in Uvalde will bring change.
Kentucky is no different than Texas in our laws being the most lenient in terms of weapons.
The Giffords Law Center to End Gun Violence gives both states an F grade for its gun laws. Kentucky does not have universal background checks, and a law passed in 2019 allows for concealed carry without a permit, otherwise known as constitutional carry. There are certain restrictions to gun ownership for convicted felons and people under a domestic violence order. But in Pillersdorf's experience, he's represented numerous people who don't even follow those parts of state law.
I am always surprised at how cavalier people are in terms of possessing guns when they know they're convicted felons, when they know they're under a domestic violence order. It's just part of the culture.
Louisville-based attorney Aubrey Williams joined the state legislature in the 1980s to try and bring gun reform bills to the table. But over time, he's only seen more sophisticated weapons popping up and in greater quantities. Williams is among those scrutinizing current legislation and calling for change.
What politicians have to begin to do is to put the safety and the sanity of this country ahead of their office.
While Pillersdorf says his area of the state has long been supportive of gun ownership, he believes this latest mass shooting in Texas could be impactful enough to bring about change in the political landscape both nationally and locally here in Kentucky.
This is far from over. I don't think we appreciate the scale, and it's hard to predict what will happen. We'll find out at the ballot box in November.
That was Jeremy Toms reporting. When asked if there was one law he could see changing as a result of this tragedy, Pillersdorf pointed to the ban on the sales of assault weapons. An African-American cemetery in Pikeville is getting renovated. The Honaker family cemetery has been on the mountainside in Pikeville since the mid-1800s. It was covered in tree limbs and leaves until this year, as the community has gathered to support the family. Tim Honaker says the support of his community means a lot.
And I think it is about time that, that the city recognizes, so it's just I mean, it's a lot of words I can't put it in to say, but I mean, it's a beautiful thing to me.
Well, the family hopes to have the cemetery annexed by the Pikeville Cemetery so it can be taken care of on a regular basis. Well, each year, Memorial Day weekend marks one of Kentucky's largest events, the Kentucky Mountain Laurel Festival in Bell County, which wrapped up yesterday. Each day was filled with festivities for Pineville natives and out-of-town visitors to enjoy. And on Saturday, one of the biggest KMLF traditions took place. Our Alyssa Williams has more.
One of Kentucky's oldest traditions.
It's truly a tradition that I wish everybody could enjoy.
Hundreds of spectators gathered in Laurel Cove on Saturday to watch the Kentucky Mountain Laurel Festival's most anticipated event.
It is strong, smart young women that are participating, being good role models for those that will come after them.
21 candidates representing the respective college or university vied for the title of Kentucky Mountain Laurel Festival Queen.
So it's just been really special, not only to have my own experience as the reigning queen, but also to watch these girls experience what I just did last year.
The coronation is not only an opportunity for candidates to display their poise, but candidates are judged throughout the weekend on their personality and social skills, proving who is best fit to represent the tradition.
There's a scholarship with it, which helps us all to prioritize higher education.
Governor Andy Beshear had the honor of crowning the new Kentucky Mountain Laurel Festival Queen, Morgan Warren of Union College.
I'm so blessed, and it's just been the best weekend. I've really had the best time. I'm very thankful.
The coronation is just one of the several Kentucky Mountain Laurel festivities that highlights the spirit of the community.
And it's a chance for people to spend the weekend together in something that's positive. And with everything we've gone through the last couple of years, having a positive weekend is a pretty great thing.
Another year of tradition in the mountains. In Pineville, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, in conjunction with the Kentucky Mountain Laurel Festival in Pineville, a governor's luncheon was held, but other elected officials were also in attendance. Kentucky Commissioner of Agriculture Ryan Quarles was there to help promote the luncheon's sponsor, Kentucky Proud. Well, it's a program dedicated to highlighting locally sourced food, but this appearance comes just a month after Quarles announced his announcement of his gubernatorial campaign.
We want to bring a positive vision of what Kentucky can be like underneath a new administration. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to beat the passive Kentucky and get out and earn some votes.
Well, he says he will be launching his bid for governor on June 1st, which is also Kentucky's 230th birthday. He hopes to become the Republican nominee. Well, this past weekend, Eastern Kentucky's, well, they shopped till they dropped. The 15th annual U.S. 23 yard sale began on the 26th and lasts until this evening. Vendors from across the state are encouraged to set up shop at their local flea markets and on privately owned property all along the highway. The yard sale begins in Greenup County and travels all the way to Letcher County near the Virginia border. It has lasted from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day. Travelers along the Country Music Highway are encouraged to get out and shop local.
Today was the very first time we've ever yard saled, and we liked it. We had a good time. Everybody had a good time.
I liked it. I've found a lot of good deals and met some family that I hadn't seen for a while, and I liked it. They had some pretty good stuff up here, pretty cheap, you know, affordable.
Well, today is the last day to set up. If you do, remember you cannot set up on the right-of-ways, state property, or county property, and we ask you to always be alert and safe when on the side of a highway.
6:10 here on this Monday morning, Memorial Day, and we're continuing to watch some quiet conditions across the region. It's not too bad just yet. US 119, US 23 over Pikeville at the Commons. Not a whole lot of activity this morning there at the red lights. We're going to continue to watch that for a little while longer. A lot of folks aren't moving in. Number one, because it's a holiday, and number two, because school is out. So people getting up, getting going closer to about 6:30, 7 o'clock this morning. 51 in Clintwood, 66 Pikeville and Logan. Temperatures continue to drop there into the low 60s and upper 50s in most locations except the ones we just mentioned. 87 this afternoon, no chance for rain, sunny and humid as we get deeper into the day. A few clouds will be added in. It will be a dry Memorial Day, but the Triple H threat continues for a couple more days. That's hazy, hot and humid conditions, and late week cold front looks likely as we head toward Thursday and Friday. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Coming up here on Mountain News this morning, the world sees an increase in mysterious hepatitis cases in children. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes.